This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, from the Fort Hill School of Government. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at some of the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. There is the 30th of March 2022, and I am 2M.
I am CS.
And I am JM. In case you missed the headlines this morning, here they are. In the Daily Nation, private schools top county KCPE charts. In the Standard, dreams of KCPE stars. In the Star, how thicker man boiled to death, only tooth left.
Whoa.
And in the People Daily, they beat all odds to shine at KCPE exam. So largely KCPE headlines there. But kick us off, 2M.
In April 2019, Prime Minister Raila Odinga told country that Deputy President William Ruto approached him 4 times for political deal. Raila, in a statement to Kenyans, said that Ruto sent 2 emissaries to him. One was captured MP Oscar Sudi, and 2, a powerful woman, former cabinet minister in Moi's government. On the table was a proposal on how Ruto and Raila would tame President Uhuru Kenyatta and his people. His people read Kikuyus. Let's watch this clip.
The ODM party turning the heat on Ruto, claiming he had on 4 occasions reached out to Odinga, ostensibly to keep President Uhuru Kenyatta on check. The first, according to Sifuna, Ruto used Kapseret lawmaker Oscar Sudi as an emissary, and thereafter, a former influential female cabinet minister from Rift Valley, all in an attempt to blackmail the president.
This means, if what Raila told us in 2019 is true, it means the impeachment claims made by President Uhuru Kenyatta add up. And if the impeachment claims add up, Kenyans must ask themselves the question, so what? Put differently, why would Ruto have planned an impeachment motion against Uhuru in Uhuru's final term? There are 2 reasons for this. One is that Ruto would not need to wait until August 9th, 2022 to become president. And 2, if Ruto impeached Uhuru and became president after March 2nd, 2020, he would not be deemed to have done a first term in office or a full term in office. Allow me to explain. The Constitution stipulates 4 ways in which a president ceases being in office. A president could die in office, they could resign from office, they could be declared physically and mentally incapacitated, and they can be impeached from office. The impeachment route gives Ruto the quickest route to power, simply because it would be in his control, and also it is constitutional. There wouldn't be any blowback for him, at least legally speaking. In any case, if he impeached Uhuru before Uhuru's term was over, he would have control over the levers of power that would assure him victory in August 2022. On to the second reason. If Ruto succeeded in impeaching Uhuru after March 2022, William Ruto would not be deemed to have served a full term in office. And that's because Article 146 of the Constitution says, and I quote, "The Deputy President shall be deemed to have served a full term as President if at the date on which the person assumed office, more than 2.5 years remain before the date of the next election." End of quote. March 2nd, 2020 is exactly 2.5 years before August 9th, 2022. Simply put, if Ruto took power after March 2nd, 2022, he still could do 2 terms in office after the August 22 elections. Lastly, Ruto's allies from Mount Kenya have admitted that there was an impeachment motion by William Ruto on his boss. On May 2019, Gathoni Mushomba, or whatever her name is, told country that Ruto would use Kikuyu MPs to impeach Uhuru. Here is a clip.
Uhuru angekuwa impeached na MPs wa Central Kenya.
The MPs even wanted to interrupt President Uhuru Kenyatta as he delivered his State of the Nation address.
They had planned, but they realized the House was not with the mood.
If Ruto indeed attempted to impeach his boss, then that amounts to a coup. If it is true Ruto attempted a coup on Uhuru, President Uhuru must do Ruto before Ruto does him. he must cause Ruto severe political injury, because if he doesn't, Ruto will go after him. Niccolo Machiavelli teaches us that if an injury is to be inflicted on an enemy, it is to be so severe that the enemy's retaliation need not be feared. Kama mbaya, mbaya.
Mbaya.
And you know, the thing about coming to power through impeachment is that it's cheaper than an election. So 15th of October 1987, in the land of upright men, Burkina Faso, the most upright man of them all, one of Africa's greatest sons, was assassinated. His name, which now resides amongst the pantheon of the gods, was Sankara, Captain Thomas Sankara. And the man who stood at the other end of the gun that killed Sankara was his close friend, his confidant, and second in command, Blaise Compaoré.
Yes.
The man that Sankara trusted so much, who ruled by his side, and the man who should have been willing to take a bullet for him was instead the man who put a bullet in Sankara.
Yes.
2 bullets to be exact, both shots in the head.
Yeah.
Simply because Compaoré coveted power and all that came with it above all else. And for 27 years, Blaise Compaoré got away with it and ruled Burkina Faso as president from 1987 to 2014, when he was finally overthrown in a popular uprising of the people and he went into exile in Ivory Coast. And in April of 2021, 34 years after the death of Sankara, Compaoré was finally charged with his murder. And the lesson there is that for some crimes and certain forms of betrayal, there is no statute of limitation. Justice comes sooner or later. The story of Blaise Compaoré and his betrayal of Thomas Sankara is similar, in fact, almost the exact same script as, maybe you're expecting us to say, William Ruto's betrayal of Uhuru, but we'll come to that in a minute.
Yes.
Compaoré's betrayal of Captain Sankara is similar to that of Mobutu Sese Seko's betrayal of Patrice Lumumba.
Yeah.
Patrice Lumumba was betrayed by the very man who was once his personal aide and whom he in time elevated to Secretary of State, which was an office essentially second in command to the Prime Minister. These tales of betrayal, however surprising, are, in the words of King Solomon in Ecclesiastes, nothing new under the sun. In fact, even in the book of Isaiah, it tells us of Lucifer's attempted coup of heaven, how he coveted to ascend to the throne of God. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "How you were fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how you were cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations." Recently, Stanley Livondo stood outside the gates of DCI headquarters and told us that the country, that there had been an attempt on the life of the President of the Republic of Kenya. And he told us that he has evidence.
Rais alikuwa anatoka Kisumu ya kwanza. Rais alikuwa anaenda America through Dubai, ndege karudishwa Kenya. Alikuwa anataka kuangushwa chini. Na sisi tunacheka tu.
Mimi ni Mkenya na ni haki yangu kusema na kupeana report kulingana na vile rais yangu, maisha ya rais yangu, usalama wake ni juu yangu. Ndio sababu wimbo wa taifa huko. Tukwe wazalendo. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, lakini wahusika wote wataitwa.
This is consistent with reports of the president's plane being forced to turn around at the last minute. It is consistent with reports of a sniper bullet being found near the podium from where Uhuru was addressing the nation during the 2019 Mashujaa Day celebrations. So Livondo's claims do not in the least bit sound outrageous. Investigations are still ongoing. Hopefully in time, all will be revealed, however long it takes. Remember, it took 34 years for Blaise Compaoré to be brought to justice. That said, it does not come as a shock that William Ruto would also have tried to orchestrate the impeachment of the president, and that he would have even been behind several attempts to cause various kinds of sabotage, whether economic sabotage and or compromising national security, in order to instigate and foster a political environment that would make the impeachment of the president viable. Let's just recall that Arap Ruto has often modeled himself after the late president, Daniel Arap Moi. And let us also recall that when Moi first came to power, it wasn't through the ballot, but as a result of the demise of Kenyatta I. It would seem that Arap Ruto is such a good student of history that maybe he desired that being Moi 2.0, he might also succeed Kenyatta II through his demise. coming to power not through the ballot but through the bullet. In the alternative, if it was to be through a vote, Moi 2.0 wanted it to be a vote of impeachment of Kenyatta 2. Either way, this man desired power by any means necessary. And now we finally understand that parable President Uhuru told us at Bomas about how Ruto was so impatient that instead of waiting to be handed the baton, he started running backwards to snatch it instead of waiting his turn.
Race hii ni ile ya kuhandover, unajua? Si ndio? Inaitwa relay. Unakimbia ule mwingine anakugojea pale, anatakikana kukugojea ndio ashike aendelee, si ndio? Lakini sasa my brother William hapa amepinduka, anakimbia nyuma.
What a powerful script. What a powerful script there. Now, there's an old Chinese story about a farmer. It's a story that we like to give here at the Fifth Estate. One night, one of his horses runs away from the farm. The neighbors sympathize with his bad luck, to which the farmer responds, good or bad, hard to say. A few days later, the horse comes back leading a herd of other wild horses. The neighbors comment on how lucky he is, and the farmer maintains, good or bad, hard to say. The farmer's son picks the finest horse out of the herd to domesticate, but the horse throws him off and the son breaks his leg. The neighbors shake their heads in sorrow at the bad news. What does the farmer say?
Good or
bad, hard to say.
Yes, I love it.
Later, the army come past. There is a war and they are looking for recruits. When they see the farmer's son who's broken his leg, they realize that he is of no use to them. And so they ride on without him. The neighbors all comment on what a stroke of good fortune this is. The farmer once again replies, good or bad, hard to say. Now, the story makes a profound point. Events in themselves are neither good nor bad. They just are. Viewed from one side, it's bad. Viewed from the other side, it's good. But the event itself doesn't change. It simply is. The answer to whether something is good or bad, is that usually it depends. It depends on perspective. And from the Uhuru Kenyatta perspective, BBI, being allowed to proceed or not tomorrow, is neither good nor bad. Hard to say. Let me explain. If the judges of the Supreme Court overturn the lower courts and approve BBI, Uhuru wins. He will create a solid Azimio super coalition that will win in round one, undoubtedly. In fact, we won't even need to go to an election. But Ruto too will win, since he'll be able to make a broader-based coalition. With an expanded executive, he'll be able to accommodate Mudavadi, Rigathi, Wetangula and company. Similarly, if BBI does not get the green light, it's neither good nor bad. Hard to tell, because status quo prevails. Who does the status quo favor? It's a little hard to tell, but from all indications, Uhuru has a one-up over Ruto right now, since he's been able to secure Kalonzo's 1.5 million votes. 2 weeks ago, Uhuru and Gideon went to see Kalonzo. And in exchange for Kalonzo's 1.5 million votes, they seem to have struck a somewhat tenuous deal. That after Raila, Kalonzo Musyoka will be made president. This year, Kalonzo turns 69. In 2027, he will be 74. Should he not get it then, in 5 years, he will be unanimously endorsed in 2032 at the age of 79. And that's just 2 years older than Raila will be this year when he takes over the presidency. In sum, we await the ruling tomorrow of the Supreme Court about whether BBI should proceed or not with bated breath.
I love it.
And whether it will be good or bad,
Hard to say.
Hard to tell. Hard to say.
like
Okay, gents. I think I'm gravitating towards the People Daily
Yes.
for our winning headline. They beat all odds to shine at KCPE exam.
Jamie, you know what? I think this thing of putting the KCPE results on newspapers and media is backward. Only banana republics do it. You have students who are captains of industry right now. Whether you shine now or shine tomorrow, it doesn't matter. Everyone has their own trajectory. I actually think this culture of publishing KCPE results should stop forthwith.
Well, I think you've got a point there. You've got a point there. We don't want to get into a zone that's totally toxic as far as competition is concerned.
Absolutely.
we should celebrate everyone's potential.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's the point, right? That's the point. Okay, so what do you say?
I think
we toss all of them.
I think we toss all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
With a compassionate throw of the star, because someone lost his life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, I concur. Okay, so we toss everything and we leave the star in compassion there.
Yeah.
Onto the political pieces that we call cartoons. There are 3-part criteria: humorous or dry, satirical, pessimistic, and effective, or just plain lazy. Let's begin with the Daily Nation.
Daily Nation, you have Ndula there, and it's a virtual meeting of the East African community. And there is President Uhuru Kenyatta, who chaired the session yesterday. On top of him is Paul Kagame, next to him is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, below him is Salva Kiir, below that is Samia Suluhu. And who's a Burundian guy right there? I keep forgetting his name. Yeah, but anyway, and next to the other guy who's getting into the picture is Felix Tshisekedi, president of DRC.
Yeah.
And if you do not know, now you know that DRC has been admitted into the EAC. This is good news for, especially for Kenya. Now, for those that do not know, the shortest route off the East African coast to DRC is through Mombasa. And that route has been cut in the last 3 years from about 7 days to just about 23 hours by Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, DRC has what? $3 trillion worth of mineral wealth.
Yes.
These Kikuyus who are supporting RUTO, stop thinking wheelbarrows. It's time to start thinking regional. DRC is a place to be right now. It's a place to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a good cartoon there. I think we park that as we look at the Standard.
In the Standard, we have a caricature of a bulldog depicting the deep state, and that in its teeth, it's carrying Prime Minister Raila, who has a placard saying Azimio la Umoja Raila Tosha. And interestingly, he's being carried in its teeth, but he's holding its leash. Yeah. And on the tail of the bulldog, we can see Kalonzo, Ngilu, and Co. And basically, I think they're trying to depict a picture that Raila is being carried to victory by the deep state. But let us quote Professor Mutai Nguni, who told us that Raila should not rely on the deep state because it will fail him. He should not rely on them to ascend to power. And finally, as has been stated many times, Raila is nobody's project. You cannot claim that the enigma of Kenyan politics is a project of anyone. And if he's a project of anyone, he's a project of the people.
Precisely. But also the central thesis behind Prof's tweet is Raila Odinga achieved 44% in 2007, 44% in 2013, 44% in 2017. He did not have the system then. And if he just needs a simple nudge beyond 50% plus one, all he needs, the 6% can be done by the deep state. The 44% can be done using the other means that he used in the last 3 elections.
Indeed, absolutely. Okay, do we toss that? Do we keep it?
Yeah.
I think we can keep that in the parking bay for now.
Absolutely.
Now, in the Star, we have a cartoon by Celeste. 2 political aspirants are walking into the 2022 election building, and what they have there are party nominations. That's the door they're walking in through. On one side of the entrance are the requirements, which include the ID, nomination fees, and then on the other side is a list of suggested items, which include a bulletproof vest, helmet, a shield, and boxing gloves. My goodness, how accurate this actually is in a lot of parts of the country. Once you get the nomination, then you're pretty much in office. Yeah, politicians are charlatans.
Yeah,
they do very unscrupulous things to get to where they're going.
Absolutely.
So I kind of find this humorous.
Yeah.
But in light of the other two, I don't know, guys.
I would take the Daily Nation.
Daily Nation.
Daily Nation.
Big win.
Fantastic. That's a big win for Kenya. So the Daily Nation gives us our winning team. I will leave you with a quote which really captures what Uhuru Kenyatta believes, that politics is the art of addition, not subtraction. You can find us on Pang, GoTV, Star Times. Personally, you can find me on TikTok at Mainawa Kangema.
Twitter, Chaka Sichangi.
Twitter, K Maina Kanda Bongo on TikTok.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good evening.